Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Charles here from the CG Sports Podcast, and we got another visual episode here. We're going to be talking today, and we're going to be doing some more talking here on the James Harden trade that we recently saw, and I'm going to talk about why I think they're not going to have as much success as a lot of people think they're going to have. So, not going to waste any of your time. Let's get straight into it. So, I'm going to start off by talking about here some of the better big threes we've seen just of all time. So, of course, you got guys like Clay, KD, and Steph. You got Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. You got Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Magic Johnson, Kareem, James Worthy. Those are just a few, and then we'll even throw in LeBron, Wade, and Chris Bosh. Now, do you notice anything in particular there about that all of those have in common? There's always one player that's able to take that back seat and let the other two shine. Start off with Golden State. Klay Thompson, he's literally just played the spot up shooter role since the dynasty even started. He's never been the main scorer or the star player on the team, but he sits there, he plays his third role or sometimes second role, and he gets his championships. You look at Robert Parrish, he probably could have been a star center on whatever team he wanted, but he rocked with Kevin McHale and Larry Bird, and he took his championships. Then you look at the Spurs. Manu Ginobili could have been a star shooting guard and been the leading scorer of a team wherever he wanted to go, but he decided to take that third role. He let Tony Parker and Tim Duncan do all the work. He was there when he was needed, and he got his championships. Same thing with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. Bosh was a star player. He was an all-star main scorer on the Toronto Raptors. He goes to Miami, and he plays that backseat, and he's just there when they need them, and he's that third star. And then finally, we're going to talk about the 80s Lakers, of course. Magic, Kareem, and James Worthy. James Worthy, a phenomenal 3-and-D player there, phenomenal defender, great scorer. He could have gone on his own team and probably had a couple solid playoff runs, but he chose not to. He stuck with it. He stuck with that big three, and he got his championships in. Now, please tell me which of these three players from the Brooklyn Nets, KD, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, which one of those dudes is willingly going to take a back seat? Please tell me. None of them. You know it's not going to be KD because he literally came here with the idea that Brooklyn put in his head that he was going to finally get his own team. There was never going to be no problem here. He's going to be the main scorer, the main star on a championship contending team. He's not taking the back seat. And then you go to Kyrie Irving. You know how he is, his flat earth believing, and he was doing all the crazy stuff before that one game in Boston with all the smoke and whatever, ashes, whatever that was. He comes into Brooklyn thinking he's going to pair up with KD, and them two are going to be the double star of this team. He's not going to give it up. And then you look at James Harden. James Harden got traded in 2013 or 14 to the Rockets. That's been his team. That's been his team since the day he got there. They tried to bring in Sargent. They tried to bring in Dwight Howard. It didn't work. They try to bring in Chris Paul. He doesn't get along with him. It doesn't work. Same thing with Dwight Howard. He didn't get along with him. They try to bring in Russell Westbrook. Doesn't work. He doesn't get along with him. They don't function together. He leaves. And now they bring in John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins trying to make him happy. He's still not happy. Still can't function with them. And he leaves. So I think it's making it pretty obvious here that James Harden is not good with the idea of playing with a second or a third star. It's very obvious that they're not going to have success with that. That's the main problem we see there. And the other thing that I think a lot of you Brooklyn Nets fans are forgetting is that you're throwing away your entire future. Now, what you're thinking, how do you know that they're throwing away their entire future? They're picking up a star right now, and this could work. Brooklyn already made the same mistake. You look back to 2013. They traded for Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry, and DJ White, and they exchanged 5 players. They exchanged their 2014 pick, which didn't turn out to be anything special. Their 2016 pick, which wound up being Jaylen Brown. Their 2017 pick they swapped, which ended up being Jason Tatum. And then they swapped their 2018 pick. So look where Brooklyn ended up. Look where they've been the past few years. Yes, they had a couple decent seasons, but compared to what Boston has done, just like that one trade they traded, 2 washed up stars. And they get a bunch of future picks And look at the young talent that Boston has right now. Jaylen Brown, a 3-and-D player, looking like one of the best shooting guards in the league right now, definitely top 10. And you look at Jason Tatum, he's a 6'10 player who can dribble the ball, he could shoot, he could play defense on the 1 through 4. And Brooklyn could have had that, but they picked up 2 washed-up stars. They're making the same mistake that they already made. You guys are forgetting this. And not even just that, you got to realize these guys are all good on their own respective teams, but you put them all together, you got to realize all the function goes down. Like a lot of people say, oh, if you put AI, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Shaq all on the same team, they're all going to average 50. That's not how it works. There's not enough touches there for everybody. You guys got to start thinking, man. I'm not saying that this Nets team is not going to have success. I'm just saying I don't think it's a guaranteed chip. I don't even think it's a guaranteed finals appearance right now. There's a lot of teams out there that I think have the ability in the Eastern Conference to take them out. And their lack of a center, too, their only center on the roster right now is DeAndre Jordan. So they'll definitely have to trade for a center there. Their next center is like 6'8" Jeff Green. He's been playing center for them a little bit. So we got to see the first of KD and Harden back together tonight. And KD had, I believe, 45 points. James Harden had like 24 points and 16 assists. So they had solid games, but this is obviously just them too. And when you have 2 stars, it's a little bit easier. That's why Kyrie and KD were able to have success. When you bring in that third dude, not all 3 of them are going to be able to, touch the ball at the same time. And you've seen a little bit of frustration there if you watch the game. There were a couple times where Harden was just dribbling the ball around, and KD was kind of like, let's go, give me the ball, because he's just sitting there dribbling, just killing time. You see there's some kind of tension there early on already, and this is only the first game. So imagine how it's going to get when you bring in a third dude in Kyrie Irving whenever he comes back from whatever he's doing. I know he was at his sister's birthday party not wearing masks or whatever the hell he's doing, and he's not showing up to games, not showing up to practices, whatever he's doing. But whenever he does come back, you're going to have the same issues you had before. And it's just, you gotta really think about this. I'm not saying they won't make the finals because they can, but my point is they're not this crazy, unstoppable super team. This is not a super team in my eyes. I don't think it's going to function. You can't take 3 ball-dependent players. These are all dudes that make plays with the ball in their hands. It's you look at Kyrie. When he played in Cleveland and even in Boston, he played at his best with the ball. He brings the ball up. He makes plays off the ball. He's not an off-ball player. Same thing with James Harden. He made a living. He got that big contract. He had a 60-point triple-double. He got all this stuff through playing with the ball in his hands, and that's where he's at his best. And it's the same with Kevin Durant. Do you ever see Kevin Durant having big plays off the catch? Yes, but not very often. His main plays is when he's able to catch the ball, put a move on the defender, and then put up his shot, whatever he chooses for it to be. These are 3 guys that play with the ball in their hands. And if you think it's going to work with them all together, it's not. It's not going to work to at least the effectiveness that everyone else believes it's going to. So I think they could definitely they're definitely going to get in the playoffs. They're definitely going to get a decent distance, but I think Boston definitely has the ability to take them down for sure. I think that definitely the Bucks have an opportunity to take them down. I think the Philadelphia 76ers also have an opportunity to take down the Nets. Whichever one gets to them first is going to put up a good fight. And you'll see there's going to be some tension. There's going to be some issues. Obviously, I already spoke about Kyrie Irving. He's having some issues with the coach, Steve Nash. And we'll see. Honestly, Kyrie might get traded if everything doesn't work out here, because he's the main problem. We just saw tonight that KD and Harden are working fine. Obviously, there's some tension there. But I think the move here, if you're broken and you're not able to work it out with these 3 stars, is to flip Kyrie Irving and pick up a center. I mean, you already have Spencer Dinwiddie. He can run the point guard. You'll just have to pick up another bench, point guard, shooting guard. But you start Spencer Dinwiddie at the point guard. You got Harden at the shooting guard. DeAndre Jordan at the center. KD at either small forward or power forward, and whoever else you want to put in there. And you'll have success with it. But I think the big question here is how they're all going to be able to gel. And I personally, I don't think it's going to be able to work out here. As I said, Brooklyn already made the same mistake. They're just putting themselves back in a hole. But yeah, there's a lot of East teams that I think can bump the Nets out of the playoffs, and it'll be interesting to see how this season plays out, especially for whenever Kyrie does decide to return. So we'll have to see how that one pans out. That's going to do it for this, though. I appreciate y'all listening to me. Drop anything you want me to talk about down in the comments below. I appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure you follow all the socials. I will put those in the description. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.